What's up guys, I'm Newbie Dave and today we're building a barn. Let's get started. How's it going everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic week. The past couple of episodes, I have been promising this new agriculture district. We started by putting in this automatic wool farm with all these sheep, and then we added this cow/beef farm. And as promised, today we are going to be building this beautiful barn to enclose all of this. And that's still just kind of the beginning of this big district. I got big plans for this whole area that I'm really looking forward to. So I'm really excited about this episode. But before we get started with the build, it's time to do something with these cows that we bred up. If you come down here, I got a bunch of cows down here, and it is time to turn them into beef. But before we do that, I need to go build a new tool because my sword does not have fire aspect, and honestly, I don't want to add fire aspect to this sword. I'm not a big fan of fire aspect because the amount of extra damage you get from setting mobs on fire isn't that significant, and when fighting Endermen, it's actually really annoying because it causes the Endermen to teleport away, and it's just, I don't see the value of it. So what I'm gonna do instead is come over to my iron farm. I'm gonna get some books and emeralds. We're gonna go buy a new diamond sword from our weaponsmith, which is, no, this is our toolsmith, I think. No, okay, I always forget which one is which. I think, yeah, there's our weaponsmith. So we'll buy a diamond sword. We will, I guess we can leave it enchanted with sharpness 2. That's not going to hurt us at all. I'm going to throw mending on there. And I also, I don't have a librarian that sells fire aspect 2, but I got a enchanted book with fire aspect 2 really just by enchanting books. Since I don't really do a whole lot of enchanting anymore, I had tons and tons of level to spend. And so if you need a specific enchantment, and like I wasn't going to go make another netherite sword just to enchant it with fire aspect on the enchantment table. So craft you up some books and throw those bad boys on the enchantment table. You can get any enchantment other than treasure enchantments like mending on a book, on an enchantment table. And so I did that enough times. I got fire aspect 2, got a couple of other really good enchantments like channeling and loyalty that I'll eventually throw onto a trident. But yeah, that's a good way to get some specific enchantments without having to make the items that you want to enchant. So let me throw these onto this new sword. And this sword will be the fearsome cow slayer. All cows beware. So this is going to be a specialty sword, kind of like I've got my specialty hoe, just for harvesting what is that stuff called? Netherwort. Yes, netherwort. I knew that. I've got my hoe over here just for harvesting netherwort. I've got a special pickaxe up there with silk touch just for harvesting ice. This is going to be my sword specifically for taking care of cows in the cow farm. So now we can come back over here. And let me show you, I've got nothing in the chest right now. I bred the cows up top, I think 4 times, and so I should have like 24 cows in here. And we'll just, we'll get rid of these cows. And since, you know, cows drop XP when you slaughter them, this sword is just going to keep itself healed. It's really nice. So I'm going to keep the fearsome cow slayer right here next to the cow farm. And look at that. Almost a full stack of cooked beef and half a stack of leather from, yeah, this is such a good farm. I love this farm, you guys. So now on to today's build. We are going to build a beautiful farm around this thing so it's not just a bunch of sheep and cows sitting out in the middle of a field. This build, you can use the palette of your choice. My palette, I'm going to be using a lot of acacia wood for the outside, and then the roof is going to be built out of oak, like slabs and stairs and stuff, and also cobblestone. So this is really the build palette: acacia, oak, and cobblestone. And then we've got a couple of other things in here for decorations. So to get started, I am going to get some acacia logs, and we're going to build the frame of this thing. Now the front, I want You can see the cow farm back here is 4 blocks wide. I want an opening in the front that is also 4 blocks wide to match that. And so we're going to put one pillar right here. And I want to leave a gap of 2 blocks in the front, because this is kind of a tight fit where I've got my ladder to get down here into the sheep farm. I may end up moving this ladder in the future, but for now, I want to leave enough space over here. So I'm going to move this 2 blocks out, and we'll put our first column right there. And then there's going to be one over here as well. So we've got 4 blocks in between the two. Then we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, and we're going to have a gap of 3 blocks and put the outside corner right there. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Now these outside corners, I'm going to go up 5. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the inside ones, I'm actually going to go up 10 because this barn, the roof is going to create sort of this bell shape. And so the inside is going to be taller than the outside. Now coming around to the side, we're going to repeat this little 3 gap pattern over here. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And so this is going to be our next acacia column, which is why I wanted to do the redstone or the redstone torch build for the sheep farms instead of doing redstone. If this were redstone, we couldn't put anything there. But because we've got the redstone torch below that powering it, I can now replace this concrete with an acacia log and build a column that goes up like this. And now that's just going to be part of the wall, but this the dispenser here will still work because that redstone torch is sending the signal into this block right there. So we'll go over another 1, 2, 3, and then we'll do the same thing here. And so it looks like we're going to be skipping every other dispenser and replacing the red concrete with acacia logs. Now don't worry about what's going in between all of these, because we'll come back and replace the remainder of the red concrete with other blocks in just a moment. Now on the back side, we're going to go another 1, 2, 3, and that's going to put the back corner right here, which is actually in line with the back of the cow crusher, which is kind of good, but also kind of not, because if this is our back wall, then the back wall is going to have this deep slate and glass, and you'll be able to see the cows, and I don't really want that. So what we're going to do is we'll go over 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll replace this with acacia, and this will line up with the tall pillar on the front. But then on the back side here, we're going to come out 1 more block and just repeat that exact same pillar, but sticking out a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll build 2 pillars that are each 10 blocks tall. And then we'll build our other corner right here. Now remember to align the corner with the inside pillar, not the outside pillar. So the back is going to look a little bit different. It's going to look a lot like the front, except the inside section here is going to be sticking out just a bit. So we're going to repeat the same pattern on this side. We'll replace every other red concrete with the acacia logs and then go up 5 blocks with each of those. And we should have something that looks like this. So we can already start to see the frame of this barn coming together. And this is why I laid out the sheep pens on the inside the way that I did, where I've got 7 sheep on one side and 2 on the back, is I wanted this thing to be really long and narrow, but not super narrow. And I also didn't want it to be a giant square. So this is a really good, I think, shape for a barn. Now before we fill in the walls, we need to finish the frame. So on the top of each of these outside columns, we're going to do a row of acacia logs that goes across like this. We're going to do another row on the inside, but I want this one to be 1 block higher than the ones on the outside. So you should have something that looks like this. And then on the sides, we're going to do the same thing, just go all the way across with acacia logs across the top. And on the back, we'll do the same thing. We'll do some acacia logs going across the top there. And then on the back's middle side, we're going to go up 1, so it's a little bit higher than the ones on the sides. And then same thing on the opposite side, we'll just do acacia logs going across the top all the way over from back to front. All right, looking good. Now let's fill in these walls in between all the columns. For that, I'm still going to use acacia, but I'm going to turn these remaining logs into planks, and I'm going to turn some of these into stairs as well. So on the front here, I'm going to do stairs along the bottom, and I'm going to do stairs along the top plank, and I'm going to fill in between all these stairs with some oak trapdoors, and I'm going to close those trapdoors so it kind of looks like windows. I'll do the same thing on this side of the front. And then in front of all of that, I'm going to put some oak leaves, like that's not oak leaves, like this and this. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. I like that. Now for these side pieces, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to outline the inside of this with acacia planks. And then I'm going to use oak fences in between, in the middle section there. I think that looks like a really nice window and allows you to see through without using glass, because I don't know, if I were building a barn, I probably would not use glass anywhere. I think with animals and tools and all sorts of other stuff, glass would get broken. And so fences and trap doors, those make for really nice rugged looking windows. And then next to these windows, I'm going to put some acacia trap doors like this, and I'm going to open those. It's not necessarily supposed to look like window shutters. It's just supposed to add a little bit of variety to the texture, the design on the side. And so I'm going to repeat this style for each of these sections going across the side here. All right, and there is the side of our barn. So if we come and look at this thing from the front, it's starting to take a really, really good shape. Now on the back side here, we're gonna do something a little bit different. Before we fill this in though, be sure to place a torch here in the corner, because we're about to seal this whole thing off. And this back corner is not gonna get a whole lot of lighting. If you wanted, you could maybe throw in some hay bales or fill this in with something. I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna leave it open and make sure that it's lit up. So for this back section, I'm going to do some acacia planks along the bottom, but then for the rest of this, I'm going to fill it in with acacia logs, but then I'm going to strip those logs. Acacia is a really weird wood because when it has bark, it's gray, and then when you strip it, the inside is orange. I don't know if acacia really looks this way in real life, but it's really interesting, the two drastically different colors that you can get with acacia, and yet they really go well together, the gray and the orange. And so this is what I'm going to do for the back wall. We're probably not going to see the back wall a whole lot, so I'm just going to keep it really simple. Now be careful while you're doing this that you don't strip the pillars and the cross beams. We want to leave those the normal acacia with bark on it. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and strip all of your acacia and then cut it down and like do that elsewhere and then just come place stripped acacia. That would be fine too. And then finally, we're just going to do the same thing on this side that we did over there. We'll do a frame of acacia planks and then fill in the gap with some oak fences. Now, as I'm doing this, something just occurred to me. Before you fill all this in, you might want to go ahead and fill up your dispensers with more shears if you want to, because unlike our previous sheep farm, wool farm design from season 1, once you build this barn, you're not actually going to be able to access the dispensers from the outside anymore. They're going to be covered up by these acacia pillars and acacia planks. You can still get to them, you're just going to have to break down the wall and remember where they are. Okay, so we've got the lower half of all of the walls built up. It's looking really, really good now. Now, before we do the top half of the walls, I like to go ahead and do the roof, because the shape of the roof is kind of going to dictate how you fill in the top half of the walls. So let's get up on top here. Yeah, we'll just do scaffolding on the outside. You could do scaffolding on the inside, but once you start putting the roof in, it's going to be hard to get up top from the inside. So to start off, I'm going to put I'll put a real block there. You could put a temporary block, but this is eventually going to be oak stairs going across this top beam, so I might as well just start with an oak stair. And then we'll do an oak stair right next to that. Now, coming down below all this, we need to get our... I always like to have my roofs overhang the sides, and this is going to be no exception, but it's going to be done a little bit differently. So we're going to put a temporary block right there. We're going to do a top slab on the side of that one. And then we'll do another temporary block and put a bottom slab in front of that. Now we can get rid of these temporary blocks that we put there. So normally I'll have my roofs only overhang by one block, like I did on my house up there, like I did on the bee farm. But on this one, I'm going to have it overhang the side by 2 blocks. And that's to give it a little bit more of a shallow curve to the sides of this thing. On the other side of the stair, we'll do an inverted stair like that, and then going back up on top, we'll do a stair on top of that. We'll do one more inverted stair, and then on top of this one, this is where we're going to start going up. And so we're just going to do a solid cobblestone or whatever block you choose, but we should use a solid block right there and not a stair. And then we'll do a stair on top of that. Then behind that, we'll do an inverted stair, and then we'll do a slab on top of that. Come out here, we'll do a slab right next to that with another slab on top of that. We'll do one more slab right next to that. And then we need another temporary block. So let me use oak like this. Need to go out into the middle there. We're going to do a top slab like that, and then another top slab right next to that one like that. And now we can get rid of these temporary blocks. So let's hop down and take a look at this thing from the ground. So there is the kind of bell shape that we're looking for. It's really tall in the middle, and then it kind of goes out gradually, comes straight down, and then curves back out to a gentle curve on the outside. I think this is a really good barn roof kind of look. And so I'm going to repeat this exact same pattern on the other side over here. And we end up with something like that. So like I said, I think this is a really, really nice barnyard style roof. Now before we do the rest of the roof, since we've got the shape of the roof defined, I'm going to go ahead and do the top half of the walls on the front over here. So what I'm going to do is, this is going to be like the back. It's mostly going to be stripped acacia, but I'm going to throw in the occasional acacia plank like right there in the corner. And then I'll just go up with the acacia like this the rest of the way. And you only need to place the acacia where there would be gaps. You don't need to go all the way up with it. So now we'll strip all of that. We'll go to the inside. And in the middle, I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to place some acacia planks in the corners right there. And then I'm going to do stripped acacia going up. And then at the very, very top, we'll do some more acacia planks in those two corners. And then the stripped acacia in the middle. And we strip all of this. You should have something that looks like that. And then we'll just repeat the pattern that we did on that side over here on this side as well. All right, and then we're basically just going to do this exact same pattern on the top half of the back, but let's do the roof on the back so that we know where to place the blocks. So to get from the front to the back, I'm going to take this cobblestone slab that's on the very outside, and I'm just going to take it all the way across from front to back like this. And now the back is a little bit strange because the middle section is sticking out more than the sides. So rather than overhanging the back corner by 1, I actually want to overhang it by 2 so that the middle section will be overhanging by 1. That will make more sense once we put the whole roof in. There's going to be more of an overhang on these outsides because the back middle section sticks out more. Alright, so there is the back of the barn. As you can see, I just repeated the same pattern for the top half of the walls that I did on the front, except because the back middle section is sticking out a little bit, then you have this slightly exaggerated overhang on the back side, but this is fine. I like the way that this looks, and I'm gonna leave it that way. So for the rest of this roof, we're just going to carry the same shape that we did in cobblestone all the way across with oak. And like I did with the bee farm, I'm probably going to mix it up. Instead of just doing slabs all the way across, maybe every now and then I'll throw in a stair or a plank. Where I have stairs, maybe every now and then I'll do a slab or a plank or something, just to add a little bit of variety to the roof. But I think I'm going to go ahead and fill in the entire roof first and then come back afterwards and throw in some variety. I really struggle with doing an entire row of stairs, but then just randomly deciding to stop and put in a plank or something. It's just easier for me to go back afterwards and say, you know what, let me put a plank there, let me put a slab there. It's just, I don't know, it works out better for me. Now you may be wondering what I am doing with a sheep and wheat. I had a little bit of a mishap while working on the roof. I accidentally fell into the yellow sheep's enclosure and I couldn't get out without placing down some sort of temporary block, and in the process of trying to remove it, I accidentally killed the yellow sheep. So Gotta quickly replace this guy. Not a big deal. It was easy to get another sheep. I'll just dye him yellow, lure him in here. And before I continue on with the roof, I think I need to put some sort of cover over the top of each of these sheep pens so that that doesn't happen again. And I think I'm just going to do acacia slabs for now. I think the slabs go with the rest of the build, and it's just a nice easy way to cover these things up to make sure that I or other creatures don't accidentally fall into those enclosures. So it turns out I made a very, very small mistake when building these acacia pillars at the very beginning. These should not be 10 blocks tall, they should only be 9, because that needs to be an oak slab on the outside. Now, technically, if we wanted to be consistent, this should also be an oak slab, but the bottom half of that you can see from the front, and I really want that to be acacia. So I'm okay with it being acacia on the top as well. I don't think we'll ever see that unless we're flying over it from above. And the fact that there will be 4 little acacia blocks here and there doesn't bother me enough to try to change it. Alright, that is going to finish up the roof. We are almost done with the outside of this barn, and it is looking so good. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. One more thing we need to do with the outside is we need to finish the front. Right now it's just a big opening. I just left, got to make sure that there's no creepers sneaking up on me because I'm a little bit paranoid now. So what I want to do for this front is I want to put a nice barn door in here. And to do that, a barn door needs to be bigger than the doors that you can just craft out of 6 planks. So what I'm going to do is on the inside, facing outwards right here, I'm going to crouch and jump, place a spruce trap door, jump and place another one, and jump and do another one, and jump and do another one, and see if I can't jump and do another one. Yeah, I'm just going to do 4. So 4 trapdoors on top of each other, and then open all of those. I'll scoot over and do the same thing right here. 4 trapdoors and open them. So we should get something that looks like that. I think I will do acacia planks across the top of that, like so. And for the other side over here, I'm going to do some trapdoors that represent a door that's open. So rather than doing it inside here, I'm going to do it right here. So we'll do the same thing, just jump and do 4 trapdoors and open them, and then come out 1 row and do 4 more trapdoors and open them. So that looks like a really nice barn door. To kind of seal the deal, I'm going to put an oak fence right there, and we'll put an oak fence right there. And now I want a sort of patio overhang, an awning, I guess, out front here. And for that, I'm going to come out right here. I'm going to jump and place a barrel, and then I will place another barrel right here. And then I'm going to put a stone brick wall on top of each of these. So we'll put this is going to be kind of hard because we need to crouch when we do this so we don't open the barrel. But if you crouch while on the scaffolding, then you go down. And then on top of each stone wall, we will do an oak fence like this. And then finally, on top of the oak fences, I'm going to do an awning out of campfires. By the way, if you missed my previous episode, one of the really nice new updates with Minecraft 1.17.30, which is the patch update that came out last week, is campfires now stack. This is fantastic news, especially for these kinds of builds where you're going to be doing a lot of stuff using campfires, and so really nice. I actually want each of these fences to be 2 blocks tall instead of 1, so I added another fence on top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place some campfires going out like this. And yeah, I think that should be good. The direction that you place campfires is going to affect the which way the texture is facing. And I think I'm okay with them facing this direction. Okay, and now we're going to extinguish all the campfires by just using a shovel, and just use the shovel on the campfire that will extinguish the flames. And so what you're left with is just the campfire base, the wood, which has a really nice texture for an awning like this. Now I'm going to use my shovel to create some path blocks like so, and I cannot turn these into path blocks because there is a trapdoor on that block. Even if I actually dug out the grass and just placed a path block there that I picked up with Silk Touch, it would just get turned back into dirt. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with some coarse dirt. I'm just going to replace both those blocks with coarse dirt, and maybe just for consistency I'll throw in another coarse dirt block here or there as well. And then coming inside, I'm going to do the same thing. I want to turn a lot of this area into path blocks and coarse dirt. We have to keep some of the grass. There needs to be grass around each of the sheep, otherwise this block that they're standing on will not turn back into grass after they eat it. So that has to remain grass. But everything else in here where we can walk, I'm going to turn all of these into path blocks. And then I'll come in and replace some of these with coarse dirt, like the ones under these that I couldn't turn into path blocks because, again, there's trapdoors on top of them. So now, just every so often, I will... Whoa, okay, yeah, I forgot that right below this is the wool farm. So every now and then we'll replace some of these with coarse dirt like this. Because really, this is a barn. It shouldn't be nice, tidy grass. It should be kind of torn up. There's animals in here, and it's not going to be nice, tidy grass all the time. Now, before we do the rest of the inside, I only did the path blocks to kind of tie it into the path blocks that we did out front here. There's one more thing that I want to do outside on the front, and for this, I need to get up on top of the awning that we built out of campfires. So I want it to look like there's a window, an opening here where you can like load stuff into the barn. So I'm going to replace these 4 blocks with black wool. I tried when I was originally designing this in a creative world, I tried using glass or black glass or tinted glass or something, and it just didn't look right. And then on the outside of this, we're going to do some spruce trapdoors, except I don't want them like that. I want them opened kind of like the barn door that we have down there. So to do that, I'm going to place a temporary block right here, and we'll place another temporary block above that. And then I'm going to put a trapdoor there and open it, and put a trapdoor there and open it. Now we can remove both of these. Be sure that the trapdoors are on the inside edge of that so they open in towards the black wool. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side here as well. There we go. So we've got a sort of open window up there where we can load stuff into the barn. Oh boy, there's some illagers. We've got illagers. I don't think they've seen me. They're actually walking over towards my base. And I'm just going to ignore them. If they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone. So last thing I want to do, and then I think we'll be done with this build, is I want to build like a balcony, a second level to this barn, which will allow me to get up here to feed the cows, but I don't want it to cover the entire second half of the barn. I want this to be a very open build. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to use some acacia slabs, and I'm going to put them at the same level as the top of the cow farm back here. And I'm going to come out, let's see, I'll come out at least 2 rows like this. And now we can get rid of these fences here because we are going to put some slabs right there. Yeah, I think that's a good amount. And then right in front of this last row of slabs, I'm going to do acacia logs that go all the way up to the ceiling. I'm going to do the same thing 2 blocks over on this side. Both of these pillars should align with the corners of the cow farm over there. And you may notice there's a little bit of a gap between the top of these pillars and the ceiling. That's because right above that is a top slab. And so I'm going to have to put another slab just right below that to fill it in. And then I'm just going to fill in the rest of this area up here with more acacia slabs at the same level. And then I'm going to come out 1 more row with this acacia slabs so that they are aligned with these acacia pillars that I built. And then on the back side right here, I'm going to remove this slab, and this is where I'm going to put my ladders to get up there. I'm probably going to put 1 more ladder up there. And to keep myself from falling off, we'll put some fences along the front here. So this is how we'll get up there to feed the cows. With that in mind, I'm going to move this chest that is holding the wheat up here. And I'm going to put this right here. I'll throw the wheat in there. And then I've got, let me go back to my chest outside. I've got a couple of hay bales, and I'm going to put some of these up here to decorate with, because this is like the storage area of the barn. This is where we keep all the extra hay and maybe tools. Maybe I'll come up here and put some item frames with some shovels and axes and stuff up here. And then I'm also going to throw in some lighting, so I'll put in some fences and hang some lanterns from there. And maybe just throw an occasional lantern on the ground up here somewhere as well. Lighting is actually going to be really, really important on the inside of this build. The roof, unfortunately, is not spawn proof. There's too many top slabs and planks and everything up there where mobs could spawn. I'm just going to have to live with that. I'm not going to go up there and put buttons or pressure plates across the entire roof to mob proof it. I'm not going to light it up because lighting on a roof just looks weird, but I'm not too worried about it. Inside, however, I definitely want to make sure that nothing ever spawns in here, because coming in here and finding a creeper is just not going to be good. And then I also want to duplicate these two pillars on the front as well. So let me see, there's this cow farm is 3 blocks long, and then 1, 2, 3. So these are 6 blocks in from the back wall. So let me come to the front here. I'll measure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll do another pillar that goes all the way up right here. And another one right here. You know what, now that I'm looking at this roof on the inside, I kind of messed up on the outside. It's not symmetrical. I'll go up there and fix it. I think I just needed to do another row of slabs at the bottom level like I'd have on the left there. I need to do that on the right as well, because that looks really weird right now. But I can fix that later off camera. For now, this is it. We are done with our barn. I need to throw in a little bit more lighting. I think I'm going to use torches for a lot of this. And yeah, that's our barn. You know, you can come in here and add whatever other details you want. Maybe you'll throw some hay bales back here in the corner like that. And just whatever else you think will make this feel more barny, but I am really, really happy with this design. I love the way it looks. I think it's a really fun barn and is a great way to enclose these 2 farms that we built in the previous couple of episodes. And that is going to wrap things up for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this barn. I am really, really happy with it. I am super excited about this whole agriculture district that we've got going on, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of episodes where we're going to expand this even further. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe so you'll get notified of future episodes as they come out. Thanks y'all, and have a great day.